I never heard the sound like that. You're playing, man. They really learn how to play. I bet the was in that young rap crazy.
Hey, this is the Geek Underground. All right, I'm on fourth page, so it's the Geek 4. Uh, well, this is just some raw talk and shit. I was looking at, I was looking at social media last night, making some videos and everything, and looking for content and views. Making a couple of big videos. That's going to be a long, ongoing project. Um, yeah, I was looking at Jason Black's alternate show, The Business. And he was talking about Dwight Howard and shit. Apparently, Dwight Howard is an aggressive, well, not even a bisexual. He's an aggressive member of the alternative community and shit. He's been accused of being out of pocket and shit with other brothers. And I'm just saying, make sure you tooled up and shit, because back in the day, I used to work in, you know, I used to work in West Hollywood and shit. And I have to admit that, that's it's kind of like San Francisco, in Los Angeles and shit. It's a little San Francisco in Los Angeles and shit. Now, I want to tell you that, I did see many men that were gay and shit, made passes at me. But, like, I gotta be honest and shit. Like, some gay brothers that look like Dwight Howard and shit, they were super aggressive and shit to the point that, even in the past, I had to threaten violence to them and shit. And at one point, I had like had a tool on me and shit. And I was like, hey, if you come towards me, you gonna crawl back where where you were. You're gonna crawl back and shit. Even that, okay? All right. And I want to be honest about that. I really don't know what's going on with Dwight Howard and shit, but I do remember hilariously, that he wanted when he was on the Lakers for a cup of coffee, for a minute, When he was on the Lakers, he was saying that Kobe was supposed to pass the torch to him and all this bullshit. And I just laughed my ass off because I know that motherfucker couldn't shoot no free throws worth of shit back in the day. And he didn't give a shit. He couldn't shoot no fucking free throws. And they had a shitty coaching staff that didn't know what to do with him or how to utilize him and shit. And Kobe wasn't going to cooperate with his punk ass. Probably for this reason, Who knows? We'll never know. Kobe's passed away. Going to glory and shit, even though a lot of people down here on this plane of reality disrespected him. And I'm never going to forget that shit. I'm never going to forget how they demonized the, black men, even in death. You can't escape the shit, even in death. They're dragging your dead body through the street and shit. It's disgusting. It's one of the reasons I have this fucking channel and shit. But anyway, getting off that tangent. Yeah. Jason Black had this, he had an episode of The Business called No Woman, No Power, starring Dwight Howard and shit. And he was talking about Dwight Howard's issues and his troubles and shit. And he pulled up his Instagram page and he started, talking about how he had no female support on his page. There were no female comments and, saying that was a bad look and shit. That he didn't have any female, he didn't have any females follow him and shit. If you're SYSBM, you know where I'm gonna go and shit. Yeah, so he took a dig. He started saying, think about like all those red pill guys out there and all this shit. And I was just, I cut the feed. I didn't even watch the rest of the show. I want to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. When I heard him starting to go there with that red pill shit and all this stuff, I cut the feed. I was like, man, fuck you, dude. Because he got to get his clicks and likes and shit. He routinely threatens to cut his show short if people don't hit the like button and shit. You don't see me doing that. I feel like doing it sometimes, but you don't see me doing this shit. But when I heard him say that, I just, in my mind, I was like, fuck you. Okay, fuck you, man. I listen to your shit. Okay, I get some information from there sometimes, or sometimes it's just entertaining and shit. But at the end of the day, you're another dude with a fucking opinion and shit. You're another dude with, you got a baritone voice and shit you use to great effect and shit. Okay, you run your platform. And a lot of our people are weak-willed and shit, and they need some kind of, they need to have the illusion of some kind of, in charge, tell them what to do. And you serve that purpose as a faceless voice and shit, okay? And I've looked at, I don't want to go there. But like, hey, maybe you should just deal with shit you deal with over there. Shit, leave us the fuck alone. Leave us alone and shit. It's men communicating with other men and shit, talking to each other, having a dialogue. We haven't had that before. We haven't been able to do that. The women have been doing that shit for over 100 fucking years and shit. And when men decide to do it, you got assholes like this, I hate to call it, weak as shit, but looking kind of weak there when you taking them jabs and shit at things that don't concern you, obviously, and shit. You run your scam over there and shit on these brothers and shit about game and all this bullshit when all they really have to do is be selfish to a point and tell the truth. Don't be afraid of women and shit. Just be honest with fucking women and shit. You want to be something, you want to have game, there's your game and shit. Stop being afraid of being honest and shit with the world. Okay? Stop being afraid of it. You don't want to listen to guys like this and shit running their mouth. You gotta take in the point that he has to get his clicks and likes too. And whatever the fuck else he's doing, okay? I think he drives a truck or something for a living and shit, but he's gotta make that extra money on the side, man. It ain't worth nothing, right? It ain't worth nothing. He got a big fucking channel. But I'm just saying, like I wish you was to stay in your fucking lane over there in that group you belong to. You stay in that lane and shit. I don't have no problem with that. I get a lot of information and some entertainment out of that shit. Okay, but your motherfuckers are not without flaws. You're human too, okay? You're human too, okay? Just get off the shit, okay? I want to say fuck you, okay? But that would be ungentlemanly like and shit. I'm just gonna flip you the bird, okay? You stay out of this lane and shit. Don't bring us up. We're not incels or eunuchs or any of that bullshit. It's men being unapologetically masculine and shit, thinking of themselves first and shit. He's saying the same goddamn thing, but he's just putting different wrapping paper on it. It's like somebody come in your fucking house and take a bowl out of your cabinet and shit and then give it to you for a Christmas present and some nice box and the wrapping and shit, okay? Alright? This is my motherfucking raw ass opinion on that fucking episode, that snippet that I heard. And I clicked off the rest, so you can judge me how you want, but I'm only human. Okay? Now, I'm gonna check out of this bitch and shit, and I'm gonna tell you with the niggas like Dwight Howard and shit, if you it's a big muscular dude and shit, so you make sure you tooled up, you have some kind of edge on the motherfucker, okay? You gotta be careful with some of these dudes. They don't listen to something. He fits squarely in the category of a brute, from if all accounts are true. He is literally a brute, a brute who wants what he wants and shit, okay? Alright? I got nothing to say except stay tooled up and shit and make sure you enforce consequences on motherfuckers that cross your line, your boundaries, okay? You have the right to, whatever. You have the right to protect yourself. Okay? Protect yourself and shit. What they say over there in that group of power tools. Yeah. That's the other guy. Don't have no problem with him for the most part. But, Jason Blackman, just remember, you're listening to a disembodied voice. He has to make his clicks and likes too. Okay? It's just all bullshit, fucking shtick and shit. When it comes to, coming over here where we're at, in our little sector of the ghetto of black YouTube and shit, okay? Make no mistake about it. You are right next door, okay? You're not above or below. You're right next door. You're adjacent and shit, irregardless. Okay? Alright? I'm pretty fucked up, bro. Pretty low. Alright? The Godfather called, he won this whole platform back that you trying to jack. Have a nice day, motherfucker.
Bust you.